Hey, I'm Jake and welcome to another episode of Fireside Technique. Been getting a handful of questions lately about longevity and tattooing, and in fact I just recently saw, again, Derb Morrison's talk, his seminar on longevity and tattooing, and I thought I'd give a few tips on the way that I deal with back pain, trying to stay in neutral, natural positions when I work, and getting through long, drawn-out sittings without feeling crippled at the end of them all. So I'm going to try to throw a few tricks at you here. First, we're going to assume that I'm working on Jon's forearm here. The first thing you want to do is put the client in a position that works for you instead of always trying to keep your client comfortable. We always want to keep our clients as comfortable as possible, but the fact is they're uncomfortable anyways. They're getting tattooed. So it's more important that you're in a position that you can work for a long period of time than it is that they're in their most natural, relaxed position. So in a situation like this, what I often see tattooers do, and what I'm guilty of as well, is falling forward into the tattoo, dropping my arms, falling forward into the tattoo, and staying slumped over, and I might work for hours like this. One simple thing to do is just to pull them up to your eye level so that you're forced to kind of sit here. I'm always trying to look for tricks that work against my, what am I trying to say? Work against my natural tendencies to slump over. It's harder for me to slump over if, as soon as I slump, my face is in the middle of the tattoo. So I want to get the tattoo at a point where it keeps me back in my chair. Another great tip is to use props. So you might pull a light over in front of your tattoo. Put it in a position where obviously you can still see it's lighting the subject, but it keeps you from falling forward into the tattoo. And if you find yourself like this, you end up blocking your light. And so you notice that you're making mistakes, which I have found myself like this before. And then I cast a big shadow on my tattoo and I go, oh yeah, set up. So a couple of easy things. Everyone has a lamp. Most everyone has an arm prop. Third thing, and this is something I recently came across, is you can pick up a chair, something like this. This one is by Ink Bed. And I'm not affiliated with Ink Bed. I'd never heard of them until I came across this chair. But this has helped me a lot in that it allows me to lean into the tattoo but still keep a neutral, kind of straight back, natural position. It keeps me from leaning forward like this because it falls up on my neck. So I sit more like this. These things are great. They're pretty inexpensive. You have a place to rest your arms. Stuff like this is great. And it's well worth it. We spend so much time sitting in these positions that if you can spend $200 or $300 or whatever this thing costs on a tool that helps you to sit in a more natural position, helps you to stay healthier and feel better, there's no reason not to. The final thing is, from my end, and then I was going to see if you would jump in and maybe show us a couple of movements you could do to counteract. The final thing from my end that I'll say is take breaks regularly, more often than you think you should. In life drawing and in life painting, a lot of times we'll set 20 or 30 minute timers for two reasons. One is to give our models a break so that they can actually stretch and change positions a little bit. And the second is to get out of that position that you've been in for however long, for 30 minutes and get into a new position. Someone, I can't remember who, might have been Doug, told me at one point, the best position to be in is not the same position, right? So even if I'm sitting like this with a perfectly neutral spine for 3 hours, I'm still bent in ways that I probably don't need to be for 3 hours. So getting out of that position is a good idea, even if you're just walking and getting a drink, resting your eyes, getting away from the tattoo so you come back with a fresh perspective on the piece and with a little more energy. Anything to say about what folks could do to counteract?
So the idea is that, and a little bit of a reference, so I'm a coach at a CrossFit gym, but I also work in a corporate office. And when we were talking about this earlier, what I found is that it's very comparable to a lot of the therapies you would use for being hunkered over like Gollum sitting at your computer all day. And the idea is that what you're doing is you're putting yourself into a position where your chin is poking forward, your shoulders are rounded forward. At very best, you're maybe sitting up in your chair, but a lot of people end up creeping down into their chairs as they go. So your back ends up, if you take that away, you end up in kind of an accentuated position like this. So anything that can get you into a correct position, like say standing against the wall, tucking your chin and trying to hold that for a few seconds, or doing things like Jefferson curls, which is And you can look these videos up on YouTube, but taking your nose, pointing your nose down, and then when you get here, your nose gets really heavy, and you turn your back into a slinky, touch your toes, and come back up. Now the idea is what we're trying to do is we're trying to take away a lot of that tightness in the thoracic spine. And like I said, a lot of these terms may not make any sense, but you can look them up pretty easily. Another thing you can do is if you have a towel, a shirt, or anything like that, and you find yourself sitting, one, I like to break up my day because it does require certain 5 or 10 minute increments to take care of your body. You can take a towel or a shirt, just loop it over your shoulder, and then grab the shirt here, try and work your way up, and then apply a little bit of pressure downward to make your elbow rotate backwards. Try and keep your torso tight through a midsection. Don't do one of those, but try and keep it tight. We just want to get the shoulders moving in a little bit different range of motion than that stagnant forward shoulder roll sitting at a desk, which is the same idea of tattooing somebody. You're just sitting like this. So you can do these, and doing this stuff for 5 or 10 minutes is the difference between not having yourself progress at all and just continually getting worse, and taking 5 or 10 minutes to try and correct every day and maybe getting better. So 5 or 10 minutes a day, and it gets better over time, or no time, and it just gets worse continuously. So those are my 2 little things.
It's not much time to dedicate when you think about the hours and hours that we dedicate to being slumped over a drawing tablet, a client, an easel, or whatever it is. Just taking 5 minutes to offset it. And like I was saying earlier, you need those 5 minutes to get away from your canvas, to get away from your client anyways. It helps you to reset and look at the piece from a new perspective. So kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. Make yourself a little healthier and give yourself a better opportunity to make better tattoos. Did we say it all?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you guys. See you next time.